And welcome to the Peapod. This is a podcast about peace. I'm Terry Angel, also known as Mama Peace, and I'm delighted that you've chosen to spend some time with us on this afternoon. Imagine with me for a moment a world without constant conflict, a world where respect for diversity is the norm, a world where understanding replaces fear. I know that sounds kind of utopian, but that's the world we dare to dream of. And that's the world we strive to build here, one conversation at a time inside the Peapod. Here at the Peapod, we believe peace isn't just the absence of conflict, it's the presence of justice, it's the celebration of diversity, and most importantly, it's something that begins within each of us. Mother Teresa said peace begins with a smile. And isn't that really what it's all about? Is us sharing a gentleness, a respect, a kindness in our world toward others? So let's begin this journey of manifesting peace in our world, shall we? Here at the Peapod, we don't have all the answers, but we promise to ask the right questions. So we want to welcome to the Peapod today a very dear friend of mine, Michele Landers. Many of you I know are familiar with Michele. You've seen her on Enlightened World Network. You have seen her in our P family. And what an amazing, beautiful energy she is in the world. And I'm hoping that Michele will share some things with us today about what she's got going on in her life about peace. So, Michele Landers, welcome to the Peapod.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. And I'm so excited to be on here today. And I just love the whole idea of what you're doing and what you've been doing for years. And I know you have an anniversary coming up,
Wow.
which I'm so excited. And I just love what you're doing to help bring more peace, understanding, and compassion to this world. And I love that you have taken it in to your heart and realizing that it's one person, one conversation at a time, instead of some people say, well, how am I going to change the world or heal the world? You're doing it, Terry. That's what you're doing by traveling all over the world, all over this country, spreading peace and living that life and walking your talk. So, I mean, I could do a whole hour on you right now because honestly, you're just such a beautiful person. And by
Oh,
the way, Seal sends her love because she's just so enamored with
oh,
you as well.
oh, I love her. I miss her.
Yeah, you have to come visit for
I
sure.
certainly will. Yeah, I'll be in
Hmm.
Florida soon. And
Okay.
yeah, so I'd love to stop in and see you and her. That would
Yeah,
be great.
it would be great. So, this is how it starts, right? One person at a time, one conversation at a time, one good deed at a time. Just being very conscious of your actions and your reactions in life. Taking a breath. If you feel triggered by someone, sometimes take a breath, take a pause, think about what is that either reflecting in you, or you can think about, well, this is what I love to say over and over again: happy people don't do mean things. So you can say
I love that.
generally,
I love
isn't
that
that
quote of yours.
great?
That's a wonderful quote.
Yeah, I think I came up with it, but I don't want to claim it 100% because everything that we say, right, has been probably been shared a gazillion times anyway. It started someplace else. So, but I love that because it always reminds me. And I used to tell my granddaughter Kaylee when she was very, very little, if she had an issue well, what kind of issue could she have? But maybe if a little kid, in school was mean. I remember one in particular day, and she was upset. And I said, after we talked about it, I said, I just want you to remember something. Happy people don't do mean things. So maybe that little boy was unhappy about something or having a bad day. It doesn't mean that we're a doormat. I talk about that. It doesn't mean being a doormat. It just means understanding that concept and sending love and responding. You don't have to react. You can respond. You don't have to react. And you can walk away from toxic people as well. But I also believe, and I know you believe this as well, the world needs so much healing and love.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like, and now we're getting into that whole campaign season, and they're turning up the jets on pointing fingers and playing the projection game with one another. Well, you did this, but I did this. And
Mm-hmm.
it gets people, it sets a fire under people. And I'm saying, and I know you are too, do not send poison arrows to those candidates or those people that you don't like or you find distasteful. Send them love bombs. And that might seem challenging, but is it really? Because anger and negativity cannot survive within the realm, within the atmosphere of love. So
Yeah.
if there's someone that you disagree with, you don't have to send them negative energy, and add to that, you can send them love. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit, I don't mean to get on a soapbox about
Oh,
that, but
no, but Michele, that is the whole concept behind 10 million for world peace.
yes.
Because what we are doing is focusing positive energy toward those leaders who are making decisions, wherever they may
Yes.
be in the world. And the more positive we put out, that dispels the negative. And
Yes.
I remember this quote, and I don't remember where the statistics came from, but it's one person vibrating at that higher frequency of love and compassion and care counterbalances 750,000 people that are stuck down in the mire in that lower vibration.
I
So,
never heard that.
no,
Wow.
yeah, it only takes like 1% of our population to change things around and to reach that tipping point where it's going to
Mm,
be more positive and we come into more of a balance in our world. So it's
yes.
so important that each person pays attention to their
Yes.
emotional intelligence and
Mm-hmm.
responds, in a way that's not going to be abrasive and always inviting conflict. But
Right.
look at the commonalities, look at what we can do together and collaborate
Yes.
together. That's the
Yes, and when you think about it, who wants to walk around with that heavy feeling of not liking someone, or worse yet, hating, or have
Mhm.
that? You know,
Yeah.
we know our cells, every single one of our cells are like little brains, and they're listening to everything that we're saying, and
Mhm.
they're compromised. So if you want to do it just for selfish reasons, you're compromising your cells when you're having any of these negative thoughts or anger. Now, I know some people, we don't live in a world where you never get triggered or never get angry, but the sooner you can press that pause button and just walk it back a little bit and get into a space of, even if it can't be love, at least positive energy, and say, okay, I'm not going down that road. I don't want to feel that heaviness of anger or resentment, because my cells are listening and they are compromised because negative thinking sends out these negative hormones, and
Yeah.
those hormones affect our cells. So I just always want to encourage people, try wherever you're at, um, try to go to the next higher vibration that you can, right?
I love that. That's an Abraham teaching, you know.
That is, that is. And, it seems like we're certainly going through, challenging times, which I've been talking about from January 1st when I do the monthly forecast. I know that. I know that we're going through challenging times, but many times you have to have, I'm sure many people are familiar with this saying, you have to have a breakdown to a breakthrough. And I know it seems like things are crumbling, and they are, the old guard, so to speak.
Mhm.
And it's like they're trying to hold on for dear life. But we have an army of angels and higher spiritual beings around us who are saying, it's okay. Just
Yeah,
hold on. Just stay
yeah.
positive as best you can. Hold on, send out love, send out positive energy. It's going to be okay. And I believe that. And I know that you do too. And you're
I
certainly doing it.
Yeah, I do believe that. And I'll just put a little plug in for something that I just shared out today. I'm going to be doing a workshop on emotional empowerment. And I've never
Yay.
heard it said that way before. Usually we hear emotional intelligence,
Correct.
whatever. But the angels told me that we become empowered when we can get in control of our emotions. And like even what you were saying earlier, it's how we respond to these situations and these people. So I'm
Mhm.
doing a workshop. The first one will be September 30th, and it is a free
Yay.
workshop. So anyone can sign up for it. And it's on my page on Facebook, Angel Speakers, Terry Angel. And I encourage people to sign up and to be there and to learn more about how we can really be empowered
Hmm.
through our emotions.
I love that.
You know, Michelle, so many people push down those negative emotions. So
Hmm.
many people don't want to look at it and they put up the block and like, I don't want to look at that anger. I don't want to look at that sadness, you know.
Hmm.
But we
Hmm.
have to be more compassionate, to be more alive, you know.
Right.
We're in a human body. We're going to have emotions. So,
Right.
yeah. So
You,
let's
you
become empowered by them.
you can't heal it until you'll feel it, acknowledge it, then you can heal it.
Yes.
But you have to acknowledge it. We know that nothing gets solved by sweeping it under the rug. It always bubbles up. It's just like exactly what's going on in this world. Look how much truth is bubbling up to the surface. Lies are bubbling up to the surface. And
Right.
the truth of it, we're starting to see more and more of the truth of what is. And so it can't stay hidden. It's going
No.
to come up.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with those negative feelings that we have. If you want to heal it, you got to feel it and then address it. And most of the feelings, the negative feelings, are either fear. Well, a big piece of it is fear that we're
Mhm.
not going to get what we want, fear that we're going to get something that we don't want. And so we kind of toggle back and forth, our fear with candidates, or I don't want that guy. I'm so afraid of what's going to
Mhm.
happen in my life. Or we really want something badly and we're so afraid that we're not going to get it. And neither of those places are a good place, I would say, to be.
Right.
Live in trust, live
Mhm.
in faith, meditate, right? I
Yeah.
mean, in the morning, when I can get on there, I love a cup of joy with you in the morning. It sets the pace for the day.
Mhm.
It encourages us to smile, to all those loving people that are on the show sharing love with one another.
Mm-hmm.
It just sets the pace for the day. And then every afternoon at 1:11 with Marbeth, you're reminding people and sending out more love. So I crown you Queen of the Universe right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, just out there doing my part.
You
That's what
are.
I'm doing. And since you mentioned it, I'll go ahead and put up the link in case anyone has not heard of 10 million for world peace. This is our wonderful website. And when you go there, just click on that join us button. That's all you have
Yeah.
to do. And then, and give us the information of who you are and how we can contact you. And you'll get all
Yeah.
the information. Yes, we do go live every day at 1:11.
Every day, and it's not a long period of time, so people don't have to say, oh my god, and if they can't make it, there's a recording, so you can still get that boost, and you
Right.
can still be part of that by sending, just being in that space of
Yes.
sending positive energy. It's great to be on it at 111 because I love that you picked those numbers. But even if you can't, go on to the recording and be in that energy. It's all about energy, right? What were we talking about? Quantum healing, and that's the wave of the future. Actually, it is the future in other countries who are
Mhm.
very much invested in quantum healing.
Yes.
But it's kind of catching on here as well, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes. I love that. And yeah, I thought you might like the 111. Michelle, being a numbers person.
Right, I do. And talking about numbers, I just want to remind people the energy for 2023 is the number 7. And what is the number 7 in numerology? It's one of the most spiritual numbers. And so, people might be saying, spiritual, look at what's happening. But that's the point, because the universe is always involved with us. However, this year, it's more like they pulled up some chairs, they're sitting with us, they're saying, okay, listen, we're encouraging you, you've got to get it together. So we are going to assist you in reaching a higher vibration. So even though part of the number 7 can be secrets coming to light, it can be that Neptunian energy where things don't seem quite clear. And
Mhm.
you go, what is going on? It brings bigger decisions in life, important decisions. And it encourages everyone, since 7 is the universal number this year, encourages everyone to go deep and not to believe every single thing that you hear or see out there. And the more you develop your intuition, your consciousness, the more you meditate, and I know I always plug away with that, but I do believe it's so important. You don't have to do it for hours a day, which would be great. But even if you do it by, again, engaging with you in the morning, or at 111, or you take 5 or 10 minutes of your own time to meditate, you are contributing to the upliftment not only of your life, but of the universe, which is huge. So 7 this year is shaking us up, and just shaking us up to awaken us. So that's a little bit about the number 7. And people who are in a 7 year this year probably are feeling it more, even more than a lot of people in their own life. Like, wow, I've got some decisions to make this year, or things aren't quite clear to me. So it's kind of um, enforced a little bit more. And September is just magnifying all of that seven energy. So we're just going to be hearing about a lot more stuff bubbling up to the surface and questioning. And but in the end, again, we've got the universe on the universal beings and the angels and the guides. We have them all on our side, and they won't desert us ever.
Oh, never. Yeah. They're made for us.
Yeah.
These angelic beings, they're here to help us through these life experiences. And then we
Yes.
have our loved ones that we connect with once they're back in their spirit body instead of the human body, and they guide us.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much guidance. We're not in this alone. I used to think
No.
that I was. I used to think I was just like this little lone ranger here on earth and, have the biological family and a few friends. And
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
know.
what is going on? We're just wandering through this earth and, you know, we're here all alone and we're not. We're really not. I've always connected with the angels, but I didn't know how to really tap in to that angelic energy until later in life when I could hear them so clearly then what they wanted us to know.
I know. And some of your messages, where all of your messages are amazing, how they come through. Really beautiful. Really beautiful. And I love your little book, and I got your other book. And you know that you're channeling this beautiful energy from somewhere. Not that you're not like that. I don't mean that, but there's something about those messages that they came from a higher place. You
Mm.
know it. You feel
Oh,
it when you read it.
yeah. Yeah, it's amazing to feel it come through like every night, Michelle. Every
I
night I sit with the angels and they give me something. They bring up a memory or they want to discuss a topic or something that we need to know in the world. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting when it happens. It's just like something takes over and it's not me anymore. It's just that time to spend in their energy for them to teach us and to love
Right.
us and share with us. And that's
I
what we
I
do.
get a visual when you're talking about it. I get a visual of a group of them going, looking at their watches. Hey, well, we know she stays up late. So, okay, come on. What are we going to tell her tonight? Let's get together. Let's have a
Well,
powwow. I mean, it's that.
I know.
I mean, I like visual things,
Yeah,
so I just kind of get that feeling, that visual of them saying, okay, come on, we have to get together. What, 1 o'clock in the morning? That's fine. That's
right.
good for her. She's good.
Well, I want to share a story. So you know that Jean Loriot, we call her Auntie Jean,
I love Auntie
spent
Jane.
4 months with me on the Peace on Earth tour, this mission that I'm on. And we were in Vermont at Blue Jean's house.
Oh,
And we were in the same bedroom. She was sleeping on a air mattress, and I was on the bed. And usually, when I'm getting these messages in, I get very relaxed, and so I may, sit up on the bed and have the computer in my lap, which was what I was doing that night. And she said she thought at first I had fallen asleep. She thought I'd, just fallen asleep at the computer and but then she said I would get a smile on my face and then I would start typing with my eyes closed. And then she started
oh,
paying attention to the energy and she said it was like sparkly energy all around me and over me. And she goes
mm,
and then she would just watch the process. So I don't know how long she watched, but she said it was just so interesting to watch it happen. And I was
mm,
so grateful for her because I
mhm.
can't watch it. I'm experiencing it. I'm the one that's there doing it.
Right.
Just to hear her describe what she was seeing from the observer point of view. And it just,
That's
oh, it just made
beautiful.
me feel so amazingly connected with them. And I
Hmm.
said that I mean,
Hmm.
I know what I experienced, but to have somebody actually see it and describe it, It
That's
it was an amazing experience.
that's beautiful. I mean, I would, my wish is that more and more people really get, I mean, they really can get this in every part of their being, that we are connected
Hmm.
in all ways.
That's right.
It's like a pixelated movie or picture.
Hmm.
You know, you have all of these tiny little dots, and when you look far away, you see the picture.
Right.
You know, you can see what it is, an ocean or scene or whatever. And when you get really, really close, you see all these tiny little dots that connect everything. That's us.
Yes, it is.
That's us.
It is us. Yeah.
We're all connected. And, um, you know, people say that and they talk about it, but do we really get that, that we are really, in the literal sense, energetically connected?
Yeah.
I know we experience, a lot of people experience it in little ways. They're not necessarily conscious of how many ways they're connected, but the simplest way is you're thinking of someone and they call,
Hmm.
or you get a feeling about doing something and you follow it and it turns out, you know, it turns out well, it turns out good. One of the funniest ones that I had, and this is just hysterical, is I was staying with a friend, and I was at my daughter's down in Wellington, and I was staying with her on the coast, on Palm Coast, and apparently I had a, this sounds, it's going to be like a silly story, but it makes a lot of sense. So I had a sandwich in the refrigerator there, right? And my daughter and her friends and her husband, they had all gone out one evening. They were drinking, they were having a little bit of a party, and they come home and they're hungry. And this is like 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, they're
Hmm.
still partying, right? That was another life for me, you know, that. But so I get a text at like 3:32. I think it was 3:32. And it's from one of my daughter's friends. And he said, I hope you don't mind. I'm eating your sandwich. And it woke me up, but I laughed. And I got this message, play those numbers. Now, I don't ever play pick three. I don't.
Hmm.
Do I play the lottery? Yeah, I play the lottery, but there's a group of numbers that I play every single week, but I never ever play pick three. So when I got up in the morning, I shared that with a friend of mine, and she said, well, you should play them. And I said, I guess I really should, shouldn't I? So we went on about our day. We were shopping, and she said, hey, are you going to get those numbers? And I said, well, you're saying it again. So yeah, I mean, that was my first instinctive reaction. So everybody knows the end of that story. I played it. They came out. They came out that day.
They
So
did.
we have
I
to
remember
follow.
this story.
Yes. So when we get those little nudges, and I would love to be able to describe how I felt when I got that nudge,
Mhm.
even though I almost dismissed it. I just knew. I knew at that moment to do it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, this is what happens sometimes. Your so-called rational mind kicks in and goes, "Oh, that's silly.
Mhm.
That that's silly." So my rational mind going about the day, I go, "Oh, I don't know." But when I think back, I got that feeling immediately to do something. And that's what I would share with people, is pay attention to those nudges or
Mhm.
those fleeting moments where you get a feeling about something or you see something, act on it,
Act-
because it is the universe talking to you,
Yeah,
right?
it is. And isn't that what keeps us from really knowing that we are all one? It's that little bit of doubt that might creep in there and say, "What are you talking about? You know, how could you
I
even
know.
believe that?" You know, it's those stinking thinking is what I call it. You know, where we just let the doubt come in, and if we would just
Yeah.
go with our gut, we would know. We would really know how connected in we are.
And make better choices for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
But like we've talked about, so here's the big question. So how do you get more in touch with your intuitive self? Well, you have to kind of clear away all of that stuff that's going on around us, because certainly, since we're all connected, there are in negative thoughts, challenging thoughts, negative energy, but you can override all that. So you have to get out of that space of those challenging energies that are coming to you. Well, how do you do that? You do that by getting quiet. You do that by meditating. You do that by the steps that we're talking about. Pause before you get into the habit of learning how to tune in to your intuitive self and your higher self. You start to clean up and clean out that pipeline to the divine, because it's like an artery that gets clogged with plaque.
Mhm.
The plaque is negative thoughts. Oh, this doesn't work. Or, oh, that's silly.
Or listening to other
Clear,
people that tell
yes,
you
or
that.
listening to other
Yeah,
people. Right. And that clogs up that pipeline. And when we clear it out by being loving, forgiving, compassionate, kind, I mean, look at you, what you're doing in this world. I just believe that that has so much to do with your clear channel to the angels,
yeah,
for sure. I do believe that. So the more we can do that and disconnect, it doesn't mean not caring at all.
right.
It just means disconnecting as much as possible from the negativity that's going on. And I think the more we practice these steps, forgiving, compassion, keeping the flow going, that's another thing. What comes in, don't be, I was going to use the word stingy, but that's not the word I really want to use. Like, keep that energy, whatever that energy is, money or love, keep it flowing. Take it
Mhm.
in, give it out. And, sometimes I know people say, well, I don't have a lot of money. I can't get, you know what? Then give the gift of spirit or kindness or a nice word to someone,
Mhm.
or help them out. It doesn't have to be, in a financial way. Just keep that flow of energy, whether, abundance flowing.
Mhm.
Take it in, give it out. Take it in. Gratitude, right? That's another one.
Yeah.
Gratitude for the littlest thing. If you're having a rough time, find something in your life that
Mhm.
you can be grateful for. And we can all find something that we're grateful
Mm,
for, right?
absolutely. Every day on the morning show, I ask, "Give me one thing you're grateful for." Just one thing,
Yeah,
and we all can find one thing, even if it's just waking up this morning and breathing, right?
right,
Yeah.
right. Exactly. Exactly. So there's so much that we can do. It doesn't have to be hard. I think we make life harder than it is
Mhm.
at times. And that's not to minimize that people go through real challenges. And my heart goes out to people who are suffering. Um, and we don't know the reasons that things happen the way they do. Yes, I know there's karma. Um, karma works. Karma works like this: whatever you put out, you get back. But I always say, and in my book I talk about that, there's a wild card present. I mean, we think we're so smart and we know everything. and we don't know everything. We don't know how the God or the universe works in total. We really don't. We don't know why some things happen. And that isn't at all to negate doing affirmations or visualizing things working out or creating a vision board. It doesn't mean not to do that. It just means that sometimes if there's a blip, sometimes we just don't know why it happened. But that doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we're not always going to know everything. We can't.
No.
We're here to learn through our experiences. And through that, we have soul growth for all of us, not just for individuals. We're just that connected that whatever I learn, it's going to affect you. And whatever you
Yes.
learn, I'm going to benefit from that. It doesn't mean I'm going to feel the same emotions that you feel, but it's an awareness, and it's part of this ascension where we're all lifting each other up together.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Michelle, you mentioned your book, and I happen to
Okay.
know that you're getting ready to republish that book and do
I
it.
am. Thank you. I'm getting to relaunch it. I had a publisher, and I decided that after our contract was up, I would republish it myself. And that's the book. And I know it's backwards, but I should find a cover that's written the other way so I
I
can put
think
it in the.
hold it back up because I think we're able to see it the right way. I'm looking on Facebook. Um, it's got a little lag to it, so I may not be able to see it. But
That's okay.
yeah, I think it is backwards.
Yeah, it's
So
backwards.
it's the year of living miraculously. And
Right. And then
it's
I
a
also have
marvelous
the.
book, by the way.
Thank you. And the Tao of Numbers, that's just a primer for numerology. But the Year of Living Miraculously is based on, it's part narrative because I've been on this journey for what, 40 years now? Gosh, easily, and I started out by questioning. I came, my family was a little bit dysfunctional, I'll say, a little bit dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And I was and I was asking where, I really, this is how I talked at that time to God, like, where the hell are
Mhm.
you? I need help. Where are you? So I was on a quest, to find out, is there a God? And if there is a God, where is he or she?
Mhm.
Where is that? And the universe put me in all the right places. First, with a neurosurgeon, I learned about the brain, and then we opened up a pain clinic, and I learned about um, biofeedback and how we can control pain impulses, and then a faded conversation with an oncologist about using imagery and how he was having success with his young patients. And then that kind of propelled me, or I went down the rabbit hole. I said, I need to study Eastern philosophies. And that was it. And it was like I really fell down the rabbit hole into all of this mind boggling especially one of my favorite gurus is Baba Ji.
Me
And
too. Yeah.
God, I love him so much. And he was in form in physical form in the 80s, and the stories that people tell about being in his presence are, for me, just for me, it brings me to tears. It was just so beautiful. And so lots of things happened it was a really circuitous route for me to go from where I was to where I am today. But along that journey, I started to realize I got really had so many miraculous, as you have, experiences that I attributed to stepping into this 0 point field,
Mm-hmm.
the field of all possibilities. And then I started doing some workshops, and I realized that there are certain steps that really help to put you in that 0 point field, in that, the zone that allows you to enter in just a little more consciously the quantum field, where the probability for miracles exists. So the book is, a personal narrative, but then it's a workbook as well, with steps, what steps that help me to develop kind of a program that I do practice to this day, to bring more of the things that I want and less of the things that I don't want
Right.
into this life. And I mean, the things that I've really manifested are pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So that's a little bit about the book. And it'll be relaunched pretty soon. And then when I relaunch it, I'll have a special for either 24 hours or maybe a couple of days, something like that, that people could get it a really reduced rate. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
Absolutely. And it will be not only in paperback, but in Kindle version as well.
Yes, we know about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. I love that because, as I travel, there's so many books that I want to read, and I can't have the paperbacks because, I just don't have room for them among all the other things that are in the Angel Mobile. So I really
Well,
appreciate Kindles, and it helps those of us that do travel or those that don't have the time to
I
to
know.
carry.
I know. Most people are doing,
Yeah.
prefer the Kindle version now. So we'll see how,
Mhm.
how that goes. But whatever it is, I would love for, people, if they're interested, contact me. I'll let them know when it's going to be launched.
Yeah, and we'll make an
So
announcement here at the Peapod and
thank you.
for all of my social media. I'm going to be putting that out, for you as far and wide as I can. And really
Well,
appreciate.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. I love this book, and you know, years ago I had an um, day-long conference, and Michelle, you were part of that, and
Yes.
I know that your book was very popular at that. And then we did a book club where we highlighted you. And time, I think
Yes.
that was maybe the little fire lit under you to relaunch it because we couldn't
Yes.
purchase it when we did the book club.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. And it's, as it is for so many people who write books, it's a part of your heart,
Mhm.
especially self-help books.
Yes.
Usually so much, you put so much love into it, and so much of your energy and your feeling and wanting to connect with people and give them something hopefully of value
Mhm.
that they can use in their life,
Yes.
right? I mean, that's what
Mhm.
um, I think, writers who do these types of books. And of course, we like the fiction books as well. They're always nice to take a journey. But what's interesting about some fiction books? I can't remember them right now. It just made me think of it. But there are some fiction books that turned out to manifest in real life.
Mhm.
And I don't remember the name of it, but actually, it was kind of a sad story. But a woman, she wrote a story about her husband as a pilot. She didn't write about her husband. The story was about a man who was a pilot, because she was married to a pilot.
Mhm.
And she wrote this, really beautiful story. And then he died in a plane crash. That actually happened to her years later.
Hmm.
So was very sad, very prophetic, though. But
Yeah,
I'm sure there are a lot of prophetic fiction um, books out
I
there
think so.
that also came true.
Yeah,
Good ones,
yeah. I
right?
really think so. And even like TV shows or things that we watch that are considered fiction. But I think a lot of that is just a download that somebody got and they wrote it as a book or a movie or,
Hmm.
whatever. And then it
Yeah.
shows up in the world. Yeah.
So, what do you think? You think I should pull a tarot card and see?
Sure.
I don't know what made me think of that.
Well, I think that would be a real treat for you to do that.
Yeah, let's see.
We were going to have you do somebody's number, but I don't see anybody commenting. So if you're out there
Oh,
watching and you haven't let me know that you're here and by typing something in the message, let us know that you're here, that you're enjoying Michele, and we'll see if we have time to add your number.
sure. If somebody wants to know what year they're in
Yeah.
this year or what they're going into,
And as you're focusing on your tarot cards, I just want to put a plug in for Michele for your numerology reports because
oh, thank
one
you.
this year and I am still going through it. It's very comprehensive and
Mhm.
very detailed. So if you would like to contact Michele and have your own personal numerology report for this coming year, I highly suggest it. I recommend
Thank you,
Michele over
Terry.
any numerologist that I've ever encountered. I think you
Wow.
are the best.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Terry. Thank you. And I just would like to offer this if somebody mentions the P podcast and they want a chart done, I'll give them a 20%
Oh,
discount.
wow. Thank you. There you
Yeah, but they have to mention the P podcast. Okay, that's the deal.
go. Awesome. All right. So, do we have a tarot card?
We do. Okay, all right. Here is the Six of Swords.
Oh,
So, what is he doing? The swords are about um, mind and thinking. Um, so, when I see the swords, and so what's happening, and these two little there's three figures, but there's two like shrouded in the boat, and water is about emotion. Okay.
mhm,
And a lot of the tarot cards, you can look at them and kind of understand what the message is. So he is moving away. If you see the water
mhm,
here, it's wavy, so it's turbulent. So he's moving away from turbulence. He's going to the other shore. And all of those swords, the sixes have to do with family and home, and health as well. So, a lot of times, if this comes up, depending on what the question is in a reading, it could be moving away from a health issue, but it has to do also with home and family. And so, just be assured that we are, maybe it seems slow because there's just one guy paddling that
mhm.
boat, but we are moving away. We are moving, we're going in the right direction. And we don't need to think about things. We need to feel things. And so we're starting to move away from all of that mind chatter. And it's a good message for everyone to kind of clear up your head and what you're thinking about, because your thoughts are what create the feeling, and the feeling creates the behavior. So you got to catch that, right?
What a great card. Well, we have Andrea Gregg that's here and loving the show. Um,
Oh,
so
yay.
what do you need from her, Michele, to get her personal number?
Okay. I just need her month and day of birth.
Not the year, just month and day.
No, because I'm just going to I'm not going to do her life path unless
Right.
she wants the life path. Okay. Andrea, do you want your life path, or do you want to know what energy you're under and what you're going to be under? It's up to you.
Okay, so just wait and see for her to answer. I don't know what is going on with the technology. If I stream this
Mm.
on my timeline, which I have been doing since the beginning of me broadcasting, um, it doesn't show me those comments anymore on my restream. I don't know what
Oh.
changed, but anyway, I can go. I flipped over to Facebook so I can watch and see if she answers. So, Andrea,
Oh.
you are front and center, girlfriend. And she's
You
a beautiful
are.
peas, a loving, amazing pea in our pea family. So, this will be a real treat to get this information for her. Let's see if she's going to give us what we
Oh,
need.
respond. I
Yeah,
hope
I hope
so.
so. That would be so awesome. And I should know her month and day, but I
You should.
I should, but I don't off the top of my head. So
Oh,
I'm waiting for her to tell us. But the numerology reports are so spot on.
I
Michelle, it's just
really think.
incredible what we can learn from the day and the month we were born. And then you add a
And
year, and it's like, wow.
yeah, and then when you add your name to it, because
I
each
know.
letter of your name has a numerical coordinate. So that's how I do the charts. That's why it's so full and rich, because each letter of your name, and that would distinguish you from somebody else with the same birthday.
Mhm.
And your month and day of birth, that's your achievement number. Your life path is based on your month, your day, your year. Your first vowel, I can tell by the first vowel if you're more of, if you wear your heart on your sleeve or you take in more. As an example, if your first vowel is A, you appear much more in control of things. You just kind of take it in. O's take a lot in and they hold it there. They
Mhm.
hold it. They have to be careful of holding too much emotion. I is vibrates to the number 9, very sensitive. E's have to go, go, go. They're busy. They're busy people, and going by your first letter, I just thought, because you're Terry,
Mhm.
so the E's have to be busy and have to be involved, and they always have a lot going on. They're busy, busy people. And your T of your first name, that can be people who sacrifice a lot for other people.
Mm.
They really care and they sacrifice a lot. It's almost like, sometimes I use the analogy of, um, I hope people don't get, I don't mean any offended, but like Jesus on the cross, the T is like a cross.
Mhm.
And so it indicates to me, you're willing to sacrifice for the things, for mainly for other people and for a cause. You're willing to do that, to put yourself out there. So each letter, the shape, the number, the placement, it all has a specific meaning in somebody's name and numerology chart. So you see how complicated that can get, right?
Absolutely. So Andrea has given us her numbers and asked for a life path, please.
Okay, what's her
It's up
birthday?
on the screen. Can you see it as you look at where we are?
Uh,
Look at
oh, five
us.
514.
Yeah, 68.
Okay, 514 and 1968. So the 14 is a karmic number. We came into life with that karmic number. And I'll explain that in a minute. Okay. So that's 18. And 8, 7. Okay. Well, Andrea, you have what we talked about, that very spiritual 7 life path.
Wow.
So, what does that mean? Okay, so sevens in this life are meant to be a light. Um, Sevens came here with a lot of spiritual knowledge. They also, for some sevens, it depends on other things in your chart, but let's just say 7 is very spiritual. You can very much be a teacher, a preacher, someone who just does really good things for other people. They're very analytical, they think a lot. There's a lot of things that are wrapped up in that 7 life path, but you're meant to be a messenger in some way, and you're meant to teach. You're meant to specialize. That's the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are some sevens, because the energy is so, I'm not going to use the word heavy, but you came here with such a spiritual path. Believe it or not, there are a lot of sevens who are addicts. And the reason that they're addicts is because they chose that life path and an addiction of some type, so they could learn from it and to share with other people. It's like, yeah, you know what? I think, people might say, are you kidding? Who picks that? Well, we do. We pick it for what we can learn.
Mm-hmm.
But that isn't every 7 life path. I'm just throwing that out there. I have seen that a lot, but I've also seen on the other end very loving, caring, spiritual people, teachers, or people who specialize, or they're analytical. Again, they think about things, they analyze things, they look at things, but very caring. They need time alone. Sevens need time alone. They need to pull back. That's very important to recharge. So that's a little bit about the 7 life path. How does that feel, Andrea?
She said yay to being a 7, so let's see if any of the others resonated. Oh, how awesome. Yeah, 7s have been very prominent in my life throughout my whole life.
Wow.
You know that I had a kidney transplant, and it was on July 7th, so 7/7.
Oh, wow. And 7 and 7 together is 14, which is karmic. And it also equals 5. 5 equals change.
Yeah. And she says, wow, thank you, Michele.
But does it make sense, on Andrea? What does Andrea do? I would love to know.
Oh my gosh. She is a director of a psychiatric elders facility.
Okay,
And
perfect.
yes, it makes sense.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's mind, and it's analyzing, and it's figuring things out, and she's helping other people. So, and she's specializing, and that's what sevens have to do, is
Mhm.
specialize.
Oh, how awesome. Andrea, I'm so glad you were here with us today and you got this special treat from our Michele Landers. Do y'all see how amazing she is? Just like that, she was able to tell you so much about yourself. And Andrea said, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And she thinks a lot. I would
Mhm.
bet she thinks a lot. She's got that A that leads her name, along with the 7, which is a thinker and an analyzer, very intelligent, very intelligent. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm glad that that little snippet, uh, I'm glad that you resonated with that, Andrea.
Yeah. She said, so privileged to be here. Okay,
Oh,
well, we were very privileged to have you with us today, Michele. So,
I'm
if somebody
privileged.
wants to reach you, I put your
Mm.
website on the screen. It's streaming across there, but is there like an email or any other way that they can reach out to you? I know you're on social media, like everywhere.
Yeah, I am. And so people, they can go to my website, and I'm open to, there's a link on the website. Contact Michele Landers. I offer free 15-minute,
Hmm.
consults, just free. You want to talk about, because I'm a board certified life coach, coaching, numerology, hypnotherapy, any of those things, and you just want to talk about it, um, go to that link and have put an appointment in there, and a calendar will come up. Or you can text me at 954-444-6955 if you have a question or you want to chat. Those are the best ways. I mean, certainly you can email, but I'm moving away from emails. We get so
I
many
know.
emails.
I know. I am not a fan of email.
I know. I know. So, but thank you
um,
for that,
but
Terry.
thank you
And
so
thank you for having me on and in this wonderful energy field that we have going here. I love
much.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to have you back. And I'd like to put together a panel discussion so we can have some of us doing just what we did, sitting around and discussing some of the things that need to be brought out into the light.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. The more of us that could join, that can be in harmony and join in and spread good things,
Yeah,
better off we'll be. We'll get to that 10 million.
yeah. And Andrea says, sounds like a great opportunity to speak with you. Awesome. I hope you do,
Great.
Andrea.
Thank
I hope
you.
you all connect. So, just one more plug for my workshop that's coming up
Yeah.
September 30th. It is a jot form that you fill out, and it is a free class. So, why not?
Yeah.
I can hold 100 people in the Google Meet. So, let's fill up the room. Let's have that,
Oh gosh,
and it'll
let's.
be repeated. So I'm holding the first one on September 30th, and then there's two other dates in case you can't make that date. There's two other times when you are
Wow.
available to come in. So go to Angel Speakers Terry Angel on Facebook. I'm going to later today, I'll put it up on my website as well. So that,
You can put it on my Facebook
oh,
page as
great.
well. I'm more than happy to share that. Anything that helps raise the consciousness of the planet.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. And the
Yeah.
web, yeah, the workshop is
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
emotional empowerment because
Empowerment.
we're going to be
Yeah.
focusing on how our emotions, they can go either way. They can bring us down, or they can be what propels us forward into forward momentum, and that's what we're going to focus on. So
Right. Aren't they something, those emotions, right?
absolutely, yep, we got to learn how to deal with them and get in control of them. So
Yeah.
thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
And Michele, I just love you, my dear sister. You're such a
I
blessing
love
in my
you.
life.
Ditto, ditto. I love you so much, Terry.
Thank you.
And so do so many other people. Thank you for spreading your light and helping the planet move forward
Absolutely.
in a beautiful, peaceful way. So thank
So to
you.
the listeners, I love you, and I will see you next week on yeah,
Okay, where are you
I'll see you
today?
next week on the Peapod. And I can't remember off the top of my head who's going to be here, but we have guests all month long. So come in on Tuesdays and find us. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Namaste, y'all. Bye, everyone.